Well, I'd love to say a very sunny good morning from London. Sky as grey as it gets. It was meant to be a beautiful sunrise. I even got a hotel right here in Covent Garden for the night, hoping to be out for that sunset, but yeah, that was a waste of 100 quid, wasn't it? Anyway, the point of today's video. This year, 2025, today is the last day, and I have learned 5 surprising lessons from this year. Nothing to do with gear, nothing to do with techniques, lessons which I think run a little bit deeper than that, and in this video I'm going to share them with you. But first, coffee. I love coming to these types of places. This is Covent Garden, but it's now 7 AM, there's hardly anyone here. There's something really cool about coming to places which are normally packed full of people when they're empty. Thank you, have a good day. The first and by far the biggest lesson of this year is that your mood, your state of mind, and your overall view of the world will have a colossal impact on your photography. Now, those of you that know me personally would know that overall I am a very optimistic, positive, and enthusiastic person. However, with the state of the world that we have at the moment, it's quite hard to be. Now, there are some personal elements that affect me directly with what's going on in the world, and as much as I try to ignore them, it's still something that's kind of always there. And I've noticed that on the days when my mood was down, I didn't get any good photos. As a matter of fact, I was walking around, I was stuck in my own head, and even though I do my absolute best to avoid mainstream news, social media, especially during, let's say, certain global events, or events in general, that kind of stuff can still get to you if you have any degree of empathy or kind of understanding of the world. And that has a huge impact on photography, because when you stop seeing the world in a positive light and you are kind of concentrating on some of the negative things that have been going on, your photography reflects that, because you're no longer looking for happy, positive, cool things, because you're not in that frame of mind. Now, in terms of how to deal with that, obviously it's all to do with the person, it's all to do with changing how you see the world and changing what type of media you consume. So it's not something that I can directly say to you, this is how you get around it, because I've not figured it out myself either. Also, waiting for the world to be a better place is probably not an option, because with humanity how it is, I don't think that will ever happen, but that's a whole separate discussion. It's something just to be aware of and to do the best you can to keep yourself in a positive and happy frame of mind, because yeah, that has a huge impact on your photography. Thames Beach. Who needs the Maldives when you can come here? Beautiful clean water, very warm, and a lovely view. The second lesson. Do any of you watch these 2 shows? The first one is Parts Unknown by Anthony Bourdain, and the second one is the Long Way series, where Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman ride their motorbikes all over the world, basically. It's a long series where they've literally travelled everywhere. Now, I am not a foodie. I will not eat 60-70% of what Anthony Bourdain eats, and I also don't like motorbikes. You wouldn't pay me any amount of money to get on something with 2 wheels and an engine. With that said, those 2 shows have me absolutely hooked. I love watching them anytime. Well, unfortunately nothing more from Anthony Bourdain, but anytime there's a new Long Way series, I am straight watching it. I will clear my calendar, sit down and give it my full attention. And then I was wondering to myself, why is it that these 2 shows, which for the most part, don't really interest me on like a hobby level. But why do they have me hooked? Why do they have me sitting there watching it and being completely mesmerized by what I'm seeing? Not only that, but they give me this feeling of adventure. They give me this feeling of wanting to go out into the world and experience it and do things. Of course, you could say these shows are created by professionals, people who are some of the best in the game at making compelling TV programs and adventure shows. And you know, you have writers, you have directors, cinematographers, and a bunch of people who all together create these programs, and it's all by design. And while I think there's definitely a small element of that, I think that the primary reason these shows are so enticing and just so captivating is because the hosts have a romantic view on the world. Yeah, I think I made a mistake. I should have started in the city because the light here now is fantastic, but oh well. As I was saying earlier, the reason I think these shows are so popular, so captivating, is because the hosts have a romantic view towards the world, towards life. And when you watch these shows, you can feel that kind of coming through the screen, their enthusiasm, the way they see little things that you might not pay attention to, but they romanticize them. And in turn, that creates these amazing programs. And you can translate that into photography. You can start seeing the world in this romantic, nostalgic way. Now, is that realistic? That's a debate for another day, because you can argue either way. But from a photography perspective, when you see the world in a romantic, through a romantic pair of glasses, and you romanticize it, you put yourself in a much better frame of mind. And given the previous point I've made, I think that will result in better photos. And it's something that I've been actively trying to do, to get into that habit. And I think it's working. I do think it's working. So it's something worth keeping in mind. Something worth keeping in mind. Is that even English? I don't know, I've only had one coffee. I've just been stopped by a lovely chap on London Bridge. And to all of you who have stopped me in the street to say hello, a huge thank you. It's a pleasure speaking to you. Hopefully I've given you enough time when you have stopped me. So yeah, thank you. That's a shot there, actually. No shot. The third lesson is to put photography in second place and prioritize having a good day. Right now, I'm out in London, the sun is out, finally. The weather's beautiful, it's, I don't know, last day of the year, I feel very positive, and my primary concern for today is to have a nice day. If I come back home and I've got one or two good images, that's just a bonus. That's not gonna dictate my mood and my view of how today went. Of course, if you're getting paid to deliver a set of images, that's a very different mentality. But if this is just a hobby for you, if you're on holiday, if you're just having fun, then you have to prioritize having a good day over getting the shots. Getting the shots is something that just runs in the background. Let's go this way. And I believe, honestly, that's a ticket to getting better photos in general, because if you're having a good day, you're in a good mood, you know, the images will speak for themselves. If you prioritize, I need to get the shot, I need to post this on Instagram, this photo from today has to be in the gallery, my next masterpiece, best image will come from today, I think you'll just end up quite stressed and anxious. I don't know, it doesn't sound like fun to me, but each their own. Let me know if you agree with this or not, because I know there are some photographers who would very strongly disagree with this viewpoint. But yeah, let me know. The next thing that I've learned is that good shots come in bursts. I found that throughout the year, my best work happens in these clusters. And when I look at this year or the previous year, I often find that I will have, let's say, a period where that particular month I'll get some of my favorite shots. Then I'll have a dry spell for maybe 4 months where my work is very mediocre at best. Then I'll have another month where I'll get a bunch of good images, and then it'll be another dry spell. And this pattern often repeats itself each year. And I've been thinking about it, why does this happen? My theory is that it reflects your mood, it reflects where you are in life and how you see the world, as we've been talking about so far. But it's also coincidence. It could also be right place, right time. It could be a bunch of things. But if there's one certainty, is that getting good shots is not a linear thing. You're not going to just get one good shot every month. You'll have 6 months of nothing and 1 month where you get 5 of your most amazing photos. Yeah, very interesting observation. And the last lesson from this year is doing nothing is also doing something. This year I have gone very, very hard with travel. I have overbooked trips. I didn't leave myself any room to rest, to recover, to recoup, to even reflect on what I've done. It's been one trip, straight into another, and the whole year just feels like a bit of a blur. And there were times where I was completely burnt out. I didn't even want to touch my camera. Now, please don't cry for me. I'm extremely privileged to be in this position. I'm fully aware of that. And given the world we live in, this is an extremely luxury scenario to find myself in. It's not even a problem. But what this has taught me is that you need to take breaks. Even if photography is the only thing you live and you breathe, you have to take a break, because photography, you use your creative muscles. You're always paying attention. You're using your situational awareness. There's so many things going on when you're out shooting. And just like your real muscle, like if you overtrain it, it'll get fatigued and eventually injured if you overdo it. Same with photography, same with your visual muscle, if that's a thing. So learn to take a break, because if your character is anything like mine, you don't know how to rest. You don't know when to take a break, and you just go without any rest whatsoever. And this year, I've learned the hard way by just burning out and being in an incredible place in the world and just wanting to stay in bed. So yeah, learn from my mistake. Well, I've made it to the city. There is the Royal Exchange, Bank of England over there. As you can see, the light's not hitting the street yet. It's hitting just the top of the buildings. So I need a bit more time before that happens. The video is not over yet, because there'll be a POV section after this little section. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please leave your comments below about lessons that you might have learned this year. I'm always curious to read about other people's lessons, what they've experienced and what they've learned. So yeah, that is it. This will probably be going out in the new year, so happy new year to you. I hope 2026 will bring you what you want, and another huge thank you for your ongoing support. But my brain is slowing down. I can only talk in bursts. I can only do this for a short period of time, and then I'll stop thinking. I'll need like another coffee and an hour's worth of silence to regain my thoughts. But anyway, thank you so much. Let's get a coffee and go and shoot. Bye bye. Not bye bye, because the video will not finish, but you know what I mean. I'm fully aware that those types of photos are very repeatable, nothing particularly unique about them, but I don't know, that light, whenever I see those scenes, forget photography, I just want to stand there and watch, because it looks so cool. Don't know why, maybe that's just the way my brain works, but I can stand there for ages and just watch. Not gonna do it today, because I wanna shoot, but yeah, love it. I love these kinds of reflections. There's always something unique to get. I'm not sure if I can get anything now. Oh, there's a guy there. Managed to catch it just in time. They were standing right here, smoking and in the sun. It looked amazing. That's quite cool. Talk about right place, right time in most of these scenarios.